Endless online searches, trekking from dealer to dealer. But here it is, the Volvo XC90, a luxury SUV that emphasises convenience and comfort, a panoramic roof, advanced air purifier, a head-up display that changes to suit light conditions, an air suspension system that ensures a smooth ride by constantly adjusting the ride height and shock absorbers. Now at special run-out pricing from $99,990 plus on-roads. Visit Volvo Cars and discover why the Volvo XC90 is the vehicle for right now.
You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
Sail GP hit Sydney Harbour this weekend for the third event of the season. Fleet racing involving all 12 boats today from 5 and again tomorrow, followed by the 3-boat final. This is the first event since Sail GP Auckland 3 weeks ago.
Here we go. Going to get to do it in front of the Kiwi fans.
And the Emirates fly time, 82% for Tom Slingsby and the Flying Roos as they bring it home. And there's the finish line. The sold-out crowd will bring them home. They'd rather see black foils, but they're going to see green and gold as they come to the line. The Emirates winning moment goes the way of the Australians.
Yes, it does. So after 2 events, Great Britain and New Zealand tied on 17 points, with Australia's win in Auckland taking them up to third equal place with Spain. Those two are just 1 point behind Great Britain and New Zealand. So tight at the top after 2 events, but still a long, long way to go. Black Foils Flight Controller Leo Takahashi joins us out of Sydney. Leo, before we talk about this weekend and what we can expect on Sydney Harbour, how do you reflect back on the Auckland event 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was an awesome event. I think, for everyone that came and watched and supported, they could definitely say it was a very iconic event and another event, hopefully, that can be held every year in Auckland.
What about the Black Foils efforts there, Leo, not making the final, which I know was a disappointment? How do you reflect on the weekend on the water?
Yeah, I think there were definitely some points in our game that definitely weren't up to standard during the weekend, and I think we've kind of definitely regrouped and made some solid plans to attack it in Sydney this weekend. But yeah, no, we definitely saved the weekend, to be honest. We started in very weak positions, and then we kind of showed that we can make it back through the fleet, and yeah, I think it was a very frustrating result, but I think we sailed very well in terms of saving the weekend and getting those important points in the championship.
Peter Burling talked afterwards about some equipment problems which hampered you across the weekend, particularly on the second day. Can you unpack that for us? Tell us a bit more about the equipment problems you had.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things where there's so much tech on these boats, so you can have fails here and there. And on this particular day, we were there was a lot of water spraying and flying around just with how windy the conditions were. So there were a couple of issues with the wing. The big wing on the boat, and some buttons that weren't working as they should be. So Blair was kind of troubleshooting those, and it's when your equipment's not working 100%, you can't trust it. It is frustrating and quite scary in those conditions. So I think we did well to kind of get it fixed on time, and yeah, it kind of definitely made a little impact on how the structure of the day went. But yeah, I think we've ironed those issues out with the league and make sure that we can kind of bounce back when we get situations like that, and I think it's definitely for the better.
You mentioned earlier about a couple of the starts, which I know didn't work out the way you would have hoped. You didn't get yourself into the best possible position for the start of a couple of the races. Have the starts been a focus for you ahead of the Sydney event?
Yeah, I mean, the start is a ever-changing dynamic procedure. Every venue is different, and in the Auckland, it was lots of tidal flow, a tight course. So there's a strategy, and Pete, Liv, and the coach Sam Meach does a really good job of coming up with a strategy, and it's our job to execute it well. And yeah, we were on the back foot in that sense. And there's definitely, Sydney is a very iconic venue. There's an island right in the middle of the race course. There's it's a big harbour, and there's a lot of traffic as well. So we could potentially have a similar kind of strategy, but I think we just have to refine it. And now there's 12 boats on the start line, so it's going to be very dynamic, and we just have to be accurate and make sure that we're on the front foot, because the start is just so important.
There was a lot of talk ahead of the Auckland event and during the event about the T-foils, the new titanium foils used for the first time in Auckland. Did you start to get the hang of them? Have you got the hang of them, or will they be very much a work in progress?
Yeah, I think it's with anything with development in a class and on a boat, and with these high technology, is going to be a lot of rapid improvement. So, yeah, I mean, we've kind of reviewed everything in Sydney from. Well, we've definitely put a lot of work into reviewing Sydney, and whether that's the start, the T-foils, or the way where we sail the boat and communicate on the boat, we've looked at every little aspect, and yeah, we've made some big changes. So nothing too crazy, but I think the T-foils will be a big point between all the teams again for at least halfway through the season.
And as flight controller, obviously, a lot of what you do is based on getting up on the foils and sailing effectively once you're up there. Did you notice a difference? Could you tell the difference between the T-foils and the L-foils, which you were using previously?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, these foils are a really high aspect. They're made of titanium. They're developed to go faster. So that adds another new challenge as a flight controller. You're going faster speeds, and when it could go wrong, it could go wrong. And Auckland was a very spicy event in that sense. There was a lot of crashes, and these boats are on the limit. So Sydney's definitely one of those events where the wind could come up and it could be really windy and challenging. So I think Auckland was a good warm up for that, and I think we have to be ready for anything. Sydney's it could be nice and sunny, or it could be windy and a couple of clouds and thunderstorms as well. So I think we've got to be ready for anything. And these T-foils, with all these new added controls and higher speeds and just new to everyone, I think it's still going to be a pretty big challenge for all the flight controllers and for all the teams.
So we saw 11 teams out there in Auckland. Unfortunately, France didn't make it to the start line, but they will be there in Sydney, all going well. So 12 boats on the race course. 11 was a lot in Auckland, particularly on the tight race course up there. How will you go with 12, Leo? And what is that like in the heat of the battle when pretty much everywhere you look, there's a boat on this course?
Yeah, no, it's hectic, and it's, I mean, what you see, what everyone saw in Auckland, it's definitely as hard as it looks, and with another boat, it's going to be tricky. As another boat to keep high awareness of, and the guys and Liv does a really good job of that's her job, and Pete's job is to keep awareness of all the boats and where they're placed, and it's their job to kind of jigsaw our way in through and make sure that we go through the fleet well and start well. So they're definitely going to have their hands full with another boat in the mix, and for the rest of us on board, it's all about getting the boat flying and going fast through the water, so those guys can put the boat in a really good position for us to succeed.
And you're new to the Black Foils, of course, this season, taking the place of Andy Maloney. So how has that integration gone for yourself into the team? Are you enjoying being a part of the Black Foils?
Yeah, no, I love it. It feels like home. Everyone's just been so kind and so supportive of the move and the signing. So yeah, it's a really cool team to be part of. And yeah, like I said, it feels like home, and the culture is just like what I'm used to being a New Zealander. So no, I love it, and yeah, I'm just really looking forward to Sydney. It's definitely one of my favorite events, just with the birthplace of Sail GP where it all began, and then I've done 4 Sail GPs here with Japan and the US, and now with the Black Foils. So definitely holds a special place in my heart. So, looking forward to getting going. Yeah,
well, let's finish on this weekend's event. Australia, of course, won the Auckland event. They won your home event. So how keen are you to reverse that in Sydney?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's nothing, there was always a good Trans-Tasman rivalry there. And, I really want to just start well, get the boat going well here. And as my job as a flight controller, just fly the boat really well, just so the team can use that to kind of place the boat really well and in a good position. So it's all I can really do. But yeah, there's always going to be a rivalry there, and through my years when I was with Japan, the Aussies were always beating us, and then now I got this really cool opportunity for us to come over to Sydney and beat them on their home turf is a great opportunity to make a statement. So I think we're all really excited to get the job done here.
Yeah, well, we're excited to watch. Leo, thanks for joining us on race day, or race 1 day. All the best at Sydney, on Sydney Harbour this afternoon. Leo Takahashi there, the flight controller for the Black Foils. So race times, 3 o'clock local time over there, so 5 o'clock for us. So between 5 and 6:30 There's that 90-minute race window. Same again tomorrow. And you might remember in Auckland, the fact that the racecourse was smaller than some of the others and conditions were good meant that they got 4 races in on day 1 and then a further 3 fleet races and a final on day 2. So 8 races for the price of what would normally be 6 in Auckland. Whether they get the opportunity to do that this afternoon, we wait to see. There'll be at least 3 conditions obviously permitting between 3 and 4:30 this afternoon, and then more fleet racing in the final tomorrow on Sydney Harbour. We'll keep you right up to date across the afternoon and into the evening, and again tomorrow as Sale GP hits Sydney.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.